Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Orly Amsalem. I'm a product manager at Synamedia. And today I'm going to talk with you about some interesting facts. Some of them are going to be fun, some of them are going to be less fun, that are related to credentials for online video services. Before that, I would like to share with you something that we recently noticed that going on social media. And we were seeing posts similar to the post that we are just going to see now. So we have seen people posting stuff like this, asking for help. For example, please, 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 I need some urgent help. I must see the latest episode of Game of Thrones. Please, can anybody swap with me login details for Hobo now? And in return, I will give you my login details for my Zulu account. And of course, I made up all of these names, so you can't guess what I'm talking about, but this is something that is very prevalent, and we see this a lot on social media. So our credentials are being used as a legal tender. So if before this was something that people would do quietly, share their credentials to their video services, now this is something that people are not ashamed of. They're doing it publicly on social media. There are replies to such posts. And this is a new or not very new type of piracy that is very prevalent among millennials. So how extensive is this type of sharing? Let's go back a little and see some not very fun facts and stats about sharing. So according to Parks Associates, 70% of the US broadband households are also connected or subscribed to a video service as well. 16% out of them publicly said that they are sharing their credentials with someone else outside their household. And that's quite a lot. So, and this means that there's a gap between the people who are actually using and enjoying content on video services between the ones that are paying for it. And this gap is quite big. Also, according to Magid research, about quarter of the US consumers between the ages of 18 to 40 said that they are using someone else's credentials when they want to watch their favorite content. That's also quite a lot. And of course, about 55% of US consumers also said that they are sharing their Amazon Video accounts or Netflix accounts. And of course, this is not just Netflix and Amazon, this is all over. So looking at these numbers, it looks like the potential loss of revenue is quite huge, and it actually is. According to Parks Associates, by 2021, less than 2 years, the cost of credential sharing will increase and be about nearly $10 billion to the pay TV industry. And that's a lot. So if in the past credential sharing was perceived as means to gain, to grow your subscriber base, this is what media executive actually thought about credential sharing. They thought that it's a great way to advertise their service, to grow their subscriber base, make their application more popular, under the assumption that eventually the users that are sharing their credentials will turn to be paying subscribers. Now we see that this is not the case, and credential sharing is actually becoming a social norm. So starting with millennials and Generation Z, video piracy is becoming something that everybody thinks that is okay to be doing. So even when they grow up, they earn more, they have jobs, they're not turning to be paying subscribers. So let's add to that recent numbers for credentials that were compromised. So just a few months ago, since the beginning of the year, a so-called combinations of credentials, usernames, and password were breached and were on sale on a hacking forum. So the number of credentials that were on sale on such hacking forums reached to up to 2.2 billion different accounts. That's quite a lot. A few months later, additional 600 credentials were breached from 16 different big websites such as Facebook, Instagram, Marriott, Yahoo, and so on. Adding to these collection a big number and reaching this to up to 3 billion credentials that are compromised. So the potential buyers of these credentials are actually attackers. that would like to take these credentials and try to perform a credential stuffing attacks, meaning they will try to crack down on the hashed passwords, because some of these passwords that were breached were hashed, and use them in different websites, hoping that the individuals that behind these credentials were lazy enough to use the same credentials over multiple sites. Actually, I do it as well. I use almost everywhere the same credentials, the same username, same password. It's much easier, and many of the people are doing this. So stolen credentials are also posing a very big problem on your security when it comes to online video services. So what can service providers do about this, about sharing credentials, about stolen credentials? So one of the things that they can actually do is to force multiple logins. When you enter the application, they will prompt you, please reset your password, make you answer stupid questions. And this is not very nice, right? They can also force users to use multi-factor authentication, use multiple devices in order to authenticate, copy the ID from here to here, and so on. They can also limit the concurrent stream that are allowed to watch on the service. And of course, they can also limit the number of registered devices to the application. And as we recently seen, they can also increase their prices. So the common denominator of all of these methods here, that yes, they will control to some extent the sharing in your application, but on the expense of what? Of hurting your honest users. Using these methods here is very bad for the user experience. It interferes with the flow of the application, it's annoying, and users do not want to do that. And credential sharing are actually posing another challenge, not just on user experience, but also on your marketing efforts. So your marketing budget is spent across the marketing funnel for creating awareness for your application, for trying to attract new subscribers, and subscribers acquisition costs may get up to a few hundreds of dollars and even more. So once you created this awareness, you attracted your audience, eventually you may lose these leads because younger generation may just ignore your advertising efforts. Why should they pay to your service if they can actually get it for free by sharing someone else's credentials? So eventually these users are not becoming paying subscribers. So to put it in another way, all your investment money on your marketing budget goes down the drain or this funnel. So now we're getting to the fun part where we can introduce you some fun parts related to credential sharing. So the good news is that there's a way to crack down on credential sharing, and the characteristics of the OTT application actually allow us to create such a solution, which is a lot of data. So data-driven solutions can actually help the service provider to not just protect their existing revenue, but also to generate additional revenue from the sharing activity. How this is done. So by using behavioral analytics. What is behavioral analytics? So it's an area in data analytics, and the goal of behavioral analytics is to actually create profiles of your users based on their actions. So behavioral analytics actually relies on a lot of data, preferably big data, that is being analyzed, processed, transformed, and so on. And by applying machine learning algorithms on this data, creating models that can predict user behavior or predict whether a user behaving according to what the user should or not, whether there are anomalies in user behavior, then you can base your business decisions on it. Whether it's business decision or security decisions, this is something that you can do with behavioral analytics. So if you would like to summarize behavioral analytics in the context of credential sharing, what we would like to do is to turn the watching habits of the users into data features based on their interaction with the application. We'd like to process this data, create a predictive model that will tell us eventually whether a certain behavior is an anomaly in that context or not. So by creating an automated process of this, then we would get a system that will first extract these user actions from the application, create, will make all the processing that is relevant for this model, transform the data and so on, create the machine learning models in order to differentiate the sharing types and predict which one of the users are actually sharing their credentials, and eventually will allow the service provider to take the proper response. So the response dilemma. What would you like to do if you were to know that there are certain accounts in your subscriber base that are sharing credentials? So penalize or monetize, right? You can either limit the number of devices, you can enforce multi-factor authentication, you can further punish your subscriber by even shutting down their accounts or throttle with their internet connection. There's a lot of things to do in terms of interfering to your users in terms of security. But what you can also do is to look at this as a marketing opportunity and increase your revenue. Yes, by using the detection of sharing accounts, you can actually generate additional revenue. So, how this is done. So when you how do you turn a security issue, security problem into a marketing opportunity? So when you create a marketing segment in order to target your specific audience, you usually look at things such as demographics, right? You look at location, you look at interests. But when it comes to users that are sharing their accounts, is this really enough? Well, the answer is no, this is not enough. There is additional feature that you would like to look in order to create the perfect microsegment for your marketing campaign. And that would be the sharing motivation. Understanding the motivation behind the sharing and knowing that a certain account is being shared maybe by family members or by friends is a crucial information for your campaigns. And why is that? Knowing that certain users are sharing with their family will allow you to target them differently, will allow you to tailor a specific package for them, suggesting maybe a control level of sharing that is allowed inside the family, or suggest to them a new subscription if this is sharing that is being done with their friends, for instance. So this way, you can actually turn sharing into something that you can maximize. So combining together security and marketing will enable you to actually do this. So in order to do this at scale, what we think we should do is to use the detection, the sharing classification, that is the results of such an analysis, in order to create a segment criteria. This segment criteria will be integrated with your campaign management in order to target a specific audience, in order to deliver the right message on your OVP platform at the right time to the right audience. They will get the message, for example, to upgrade for a family account or to upgrade to start a new subscription and so on. And since we believe that most of the users are actually honest and would like to help them to stay honest, we do think that the conversion opportunity here is rather big. So let's summarize how you can find new revenue with security. So first, you might be losing a lot of money due to sharing activity on your online video services. Now, the fun fact is that you can actually use the security issue in order to create a big marketing opportunity and create an additional revenue to your business. So by using behavioral analytics, you can actually include the results of the analysis with your marketing campaign and deliver the right message at the right time to the right user. Once you have detected the sharing security, so you have a choice. You can either penalize or monetize. So be wise and leverage this detection in order to create this marketing opportunity and complete the marketing cycle at scale with your detection. So this is it. I'm Orly from Synamedia. We are a company that provides global services for video security and video services in general. Our booth is right down there, so if you want to hear more about our solutions for credential sharing and how to integrate credential sharing with either security measures or marketing opportunities, you are welcome to our booth and ask more questions. And we also have a demo for you. If you have any questions right now, I'm happy to answer. Okay. Thank you.